let's talk Z4s. So we just happen to have the most current Z4 and the first generation Z4. What I want to do is go over the 3 generations of Z. I wish I had an E89, the middle one, but I don't. But I have an E85. So the first generation of the Z4, following the Z8, which those are hard shoes to fill. This is my favorite. The E85 is quintessential Z4. They're chocolate and vanilla, top down, kind of analog, but a lot more comfortable than the Z3. Anyway, this is the E85. You had the E85, which is the roadster, soft top, and then you had an E86, which was the coupe. Now, if you want a Z4 coupe, go ahead and buy a Supra. They don't make them anymore. The E85 Z4 was a fully naturally aspirated offering. With the E89, the second, which we'll go over in a second, you had NA into turbocharging era. But there were a couple different models you had, and these guys ran from 2003 to 2008. They were produced here in the United States, in Spartanburg. If you've ever been to South Carolina, they're very proud. And if you remember back when this car came out, it was a striking design, and it was controversial. There was a big billboard, search this, Jay, but there was a big billboard that said Land Shark, and it was a side profile E85, and it did look like a shark. The design was cool, kind of a throwback to the Bengal area. Anyhow, seating is low and in the back against the rear axle. A lot different than the Z3. The car is really composed. They had electronic steering racks, except for the M Roadster. And you had a couple different flavors. You had a 2.5, a 3 liter, a 3 liter SI, and the Z4 M Roadster, which we see here. You had 5-speed options, you had 6-speed options, you had an automatic option, and then you also had an SMG option. Don't do the SMG option. You had M54 offerings for the engine bay, you had N52, you also had the S54 in the M Roadster. And we talked about the M Roadster being a very underrated platform, but overall, fantastic car. This was the first iteration of the Z4. We've covered in past about some of its Achilles heels and weak spots, the top being one of them with the top motor and where it's placed. The electronic steering rack and the non-M models tends to go out. The M Roadster, you got a hydraulic rack. But all naturally aspirated models, fantastic car. We talked about it a whole bunch. This is the E85, first generation Z4, produced from 2003 to 2008. Now, moving on. We don't have one here right now, but Jay is gonna pop up a picture of the E89 Z4. That is the second one. And that one, 2009 to 2016. We've had a few of them. Now, production went from South Carolina in America back to Regensburg. Back to Regensburg. Haven't been to Regensburg, I've been to Munich, can't pronounce it right. Production for the Z4 went back to Germany. Fun fact, that car, the E89 Z4, which we've had, was produced solely designed. It's the first BMW to be solely designed by 2 females. Pretty neat, didn't know that, pretty cool. That guy, you had N20 offerings, N52 offerings, the N54 power plant, which was used fairly differently. Similar to the SI, you had an IS option that came in a dual clutch. Really neat platform, really neat car. Soft top, goodbye, into a folding hardtop. The top options for the Z4s, it's kind of funky. With the G29 you've gone back, but we started with a soft top. With the E89 we went to a 2-piece folding hardtop, and overall they feel more spacious. Technology increases, luxury increases. It's a different feeling car overall. The handling, again, you have an electronic steering rack. It can be fairly numb, but that is your E89. So the E89 Z4 was important for us because it marks the line in the sand where you got rid of the NA Z4 and they went into a full turbocharging. So you had turbocharging NA and NA offerings in the E89, and mark in the sand where the turbocharging began. That's a little bit about the E89. Then we get into the third and most recent generation Z4, which is what you see here. It's funny, I didn't know up until today a lot of different facts about this car, because this is the first one we've had here at Atlas Motor Co. On the E85, you could obviously buy a coupe. That was from 2006 forward. They offered the E86, which was the coupe. After that, you could not get a coupe, a fixed roof. You could with this, arguably, because the Z4 and the Toyota, it's a joint venture between Toyota and BMW. The Z4 and the A90 Supra are produced in Austria at the same plant. South Carolina, back to Germany, now in Austria is where these guys are produced. So if you wanted a coupe, go buy yourself a Supra, or save some pennies, drop the top, and essentially you have the same car. This is the G29 Z4. This model here specifically has the 4 cylinders, so the B46, matted to the 8-speed automatic ZF, which we know and love. This guy specifically here is San Francisco Red, and it's hard to tell on camera. It's kind of a mix of a Mola and Melbourne together, but it's a little more leaning towards Modena or Ferrari Red, Rosso Red. It's a staggering color. And there's a couple cues that you can see. You have a horizontal kidney grille, thank gosh. But there's a couple items like the A-pillar, and then also the shoulder line that comes in from the hood up to the top. It does share some design with the Supra, but other than that, it is different. The first thing I noticed when I got in this is that it is comfortable. The seats on the G29 Z4, I mean, the difference between the E85 and this, it's like going between an E36 and a G. I mean, the difference is fantastic. So far, we love it. This guy just became available. It has just under 20,000 miles. It has the 8-speed automatic, which we love. You could get a manual. So there is a manual mode. BMW came out with a 6-speed transmission that you can get on the M40i. But you basically had two options. You had the B46, B48, or the B58. I can't even imagine what a B58 model. We'll have to get one soon. Dave, please buy an M40i. But I hope that covers the lineage from the E85 to the E89 and to the G29 that we have here today. It does look strikingly bigger, and that's because it is. The wheelbase between the E85, the E89, and all the Z4 models stayed the same, believe it or not. Only 3 to 4 inches wider on the G29 versus the E85, and the length has grown. So the E85, E86, 6 more inches, and then a total of 10 or more inches between the E85 and the G29. So while it may look like as wide as a new 5 Series, it is, but it also isn't. Driving, no idea. E85 has always been the benchmark for me. It's super nimble, super responsive, especially in an M model. And the E89 did feel bigger. Come to find out, it's actually not. But the biggest difference between the E85 and the G29 is the weight. So the E85 model, you were sub 3K, 3,000 pounds without a driver. The curb weight on the G29 is 3,500 plus on the M40i model, so it is heavier. There's plenty of reviews out there of people driving the M40i, even the manual version that you can now order. So I can't give you an exact detail of what that feels like. But so yeah, just wanted to give you guys an overview of the different Z4M models. We happen to have 2 of them here, and this is the first G29 we've had. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Do you like the styling of the G29? Do you think it's a really good bang for the buck over the Supra? I mean, the Z4 has come a long way. If you had an E85, top goes down and your trunk is minute. If you had an E89 with a 2-piece folding hardtop, you lost a fair amount, but look at this. This is with the top down. You have I mean, we'll see what it feels like when you're driving, but yeah, it's wider and longer, but that's the only thing with the Z4 model up until this model thus far is that you have to compromise with that car, and this is useful. It's good space. Eat your heart out, Miata. That's cool.
What do we have here?
We have, well, these are connecting rod bearings, but we have an E46 M3. This was the E46 M3 that we 6-speed swapped. It was an SMG. It is now sold. The customer and I, and John, hello from Arizona, have been working to start off by saying the E46 M3, like us, was the poster car for this individual on the wall. And I always love, we all do here, love getting to work with our customers who finally are able to buy their dream car, and then before they take delivery, they work with us, kind of live vicariously through them, they work with us to make it theirs. Wheels, tires, suspension, tackling the big 3, all of it, performance mods, kind of our why and what we do as enthusiasts here is it's fun. So this is a titanium silver on black, E46 M3, just over 100,000 miles. Was an SMG, is no longer. We did a full 6-speed swap. We did a valve cover gasket, valve adjustment, control arm bushing, suspension. We did a whole bunch of basic maintenance. And the customer contacted us from Arizona and asked us to complete the rod bearing service on the car, install some new wheels, and a whole bunch of other items. So I'm gonna let John take it over. Before I do that, the one thing I can do, not as a technician, but this is his brand new to him, steering wheel. And I had this on mine. Dave has it on his E46 M3 Swap ZHP 4-door. But there's a company called Kobe Wheel, and hopefully Jay can put the link in. But this gentleman down in Georgia, you send him your wheel, or he has a core program, you can sit on the wheel and you can have your wheel completely refinished. So they completely rewrap it leather. You can choose different stitch. This is the smooth grain Napa leather with the tri-color stitch and a rewrap lower trim. But I'm getting ready to throw this in for the gentleman in a second. Pretty easy swap. But if you have an E46 M3 or any other generation M3, you can send it to him. And in about 2 to 3 weeks or less turnaround, you have a brand new rewrapped wheel. Changes the look and feel of the interior completely. So this is his new rewrap. Yeah, so we're kind of encasing all the work that we've done here with this. Really neat. But John's over here, he's still wrapping up some of the work, but overall, just a hair over $6,000 worth of work completed. In addition, before he takes delivery, he's going to be daily driving this in the desert out in Arizona. So I'll let John take it away.
Sean had started this PPI a while ago, and I was just kind of buttoning up for the things that the guy had wanted to go ahead and do. So we did the rod bearings. A couple of these had some wear, a little bit, not bad, but there's still some wear. One of the cooler things that he did was went ahead and put a CSF, the 3-core radiator in, as well as the oil cooler. So that was pretty neat. And we are using Bimmer World's hoses. And these are pretty cool too, because you actually put them together. They come disassembled and you assemble them. But overall, it's a pretty good car. Offset mounts for the radiator to pull the radiator back, because the fan, since the radiator is so big now, that the fan cowl hits on the fan blade.
What are those, the whiteboard?
Yeah, so they just came in, so we got to throw these in, and then this will pull the radiator back about, I don't know, 2-3 millimeters, and that'll give it enough room to clear the fan. We went ahead and we put a new fan on it too, new fan blades and new clutch. So it's got quite a bit of stuff going on with it. New wheels, they actually look really good. I think these wheels look fire on this car.
So I want to highlight a vendor that's been with us for close to 10 years now. Carolina Wheel Repair here in Raleigh handles everything from all types of refinishing on your wheels, fixing bends, powder coating, painting, curb rash repair, you name it, they can do it. We've been with them for a little over 10 years now. They've done everything from Ferrari to Porsche to BMW for us, and lots of our customers have used them. If you need any repair in the immediate area of the triangle, give them a shout. They are fully mobile, and then now they have a standalone facility, which we're going to tour here in a second. Let's check out their trailer. This is their mobile unit. What you got in here, a Subaru wheel?
Yeah, Subaru.
Nice. Let's check out the shop. So we're in the shop here, and obviously they have a mounting and balancing machine, but they're able to professionally remove the tire from the wheel, refinish it, whether it be paint or powder coat. We got a set of STI wheels here and a new powder coated set. Not sure where those are from, but pretty neat. Really clean setup. You can bring your car here and keep it here safely in storage while the work is being done. We've got an E91 wagon from us that we sold to a customer out in Virginia. On a road trip back down to Raleigh, he had some issues with eccentric shaft gasket that was improperly installed by another shop. So we were able to fix that for him. And then while it was here, we offered Brady and Carolina Wheel Repair Service. His 19-inch E91 wheels are getting refinished right now. So these will be removed, clean, and fully refinished. Beautiful E91 wagon that we sold about a year ago. Got a nice little E92 hanging out over here. The team here has always had a very sterile and professional setup. They've done real refinishing on some of my cars. If you're in the immediate area and you got a bent rim, you got a cracked rim, they even have a welding setup over here, or any type of wheel refinishing, Carolina Wheel Repair is who you need to go to. All right, guys, so this week's devotion is one that we shared at C12, and it's a pretty popular parable that you may have heard in Sunday school or growing up, but it was given when Jesus was given his Sermon on the Mount. It's Matthew 7, 24 through 25. And it was all about building a house, meaning building your faith, building it on a steady, strong foundation. So Jesus gives the parable, the story of two men who build their homes on two different platforms, one being on sand, which is weak and shifting, and the other one being on something solid, such as rock. He's describing these two men who are building their homes, and the house built upon a rock weathers the storm, and the builder is called wise, but the house built on the sand collapsed during the storm, and the builder is called foolish. I always like revisiting this parable because it makes me question where my faith is, and have I been an obedient and faithful servant. It's also important to note that this is something that we have to do intentionally daily with small little actions so that when the storms do come, we are not shaken and we can rely back on that strong foundation and we can persevere, because regardless of where we are in life or who we are or the circumstances that we have, that we were given or born into, nothing is going to change, and we are never guaranteed a smooth, easy passage through life. So I like Dave has a t-shirt. Strong sailors are made through storms. I'll have to look that up. Pretty cool shirt, but the meaning of the parable is quite obvious. So proper foundations are necessary. We are going to face storms as we go through our day-to-day and throughout our life. And with a literal house, it is unwise to build on sand because the foundation will be unsteady and the house will eventually suffer some kind of damage. This will waste resources, all the time and work put into building the house in the first place. In contrast, it is wise to build one's house on a strong foundation, anchoring bedrock to make a building withstand the test. The spiritual meaning of the parable is found in this chapter in Matthew. Everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who's built his house on rock. So first point is that I made was hearing and doing. So we have to first listen and then also act on them, demonstrating genuine faith and obedience, whether that being in the Word on a daily basis, worshiping with others, making small steps every day to practice and grow your faith. The storms and the foundation both represent the rain, streams, and wind represent the trials, difficulties, and ultimate judgment of life. And some key takeaways that I wrote down: action matters. So merely hearing Jesus' words is not enough. True disciples are those who obey and live out his teachings. And during life, this practice of hearing and doing built a strong life foundation that will withstand any storm or hardship or the final judgment. And of course, Matthew here is calling us to obedience. It's the concluding point of his Sermon on the Mount, emphasizing the difference between lasting life and failure lies in this fundamental principle of obedience to God's word. Neat little parable there. Something you can ask yourself today is, in my faith journey, where am I? Do I have a strong enough foundation to get myself through life's trials and tribulations? So Matthew 7:24-25.
Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys are nearby, come check me and Dave out. We go to Triangle Fellowship Church in the Morrisville area. And if you're nowhere near us, we just encourage you to find a church near you. And looks like we got some more videos over there. So why don't you go ahead and check those out. We'll see you over there.